So the next issue is that of Kano State. There are key political events taking place in Kano. If you remember, in 2023, Kano State was won by the opposition, NNPP, with the leader of the Kwankwasia movement, um, Engineer Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, you know, leading the Kwankwasia movement. They were able to get Abba Yusuf elected as governor of the state. The former governor of Kano State, Ganduje, after failing to get his choice, win the election after losing at the courts, Ganduje was made national chairman of the APC then until months ago when he had to resign. So there's been that issue. You have Ganduje in APC, Abuja, wielding influence. Then you have Abba Yusuf, NNPP, Kwankwasia movement, Kwankwaso, on the other side. Then there was the issue of the Emirates, under the former governor Ganduje. He split the Kano Emirate into 4 parts, and he got Emir Sanusi removed. So when Abba Yusuf came in, he sought to restore, take things back to the way they were. So we saw that he dissolved the 4 emirates, made it one Kano Emirate, and restored Emir Sanusi back to the throne. So, and that case is in the courts, and I think it's in the Supreme Court. So you have that. You have the emirate issue, you have the political issue, and we saw how all of that has been playing out. So what is happening now is that the governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, he wants to join APC. It is said that the governor really desires going to APC. It's likely due to probably they've had some agreements. What some people said is that there appear to be some agreements between the Tinubu federal government and Kano State. For example, we saw a situation whereby the Ganduje was removed as APC chairman. Some inference is that the removal of Ganduje was to make way for a possible defection of the shifting of NNPP, Kwankwaso, and the governor, for them to defect to APC. Since Kwankwaso and Ganduje, they are arch rivals, they were once in the same camp. When Kwankwaso was governor, Ganduje was his deputy governor. The 2 times that Kwankwaso was governor, Ganduje was the deputy governor. And when Kwankwaso was leaving, he saw to it that Ganduje emerged as governor, and he went for Senate. But soon after, things fell apart and they parted ways, and there's been this bitter rivalry. So they said that for Kwankwasia movement, Abba Yusuf, to join APC, Ganduje had to leave. So this is allegedly now. Now, after Ganduje was removed, it now cleared the way, and one would expect that the NNPP and the Kwankwasia movement and the governor and Kwankwaso will move to APC. But there was now another wrinkle. It is said that Kwankwaso wants to be vice president. Minimum, he wants to be vice president. And Tinubu doesn't want to go with that. And recently, there's a video that's emerged where Kwankwaso was speaking to supporters in Hausa language, where he said he would rather want one or two. Either he's president or vice president. So Kwankwaso now is not only shopping to go to another party, but he wants to be either presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate. And since he has not gotten that, it seems he didn't get that from the president from APC, and so he's reluctant to join APC. And it appears that if he could get something like that in ADC, if that is possible, maybe he may move to ADC. But I doubt if ADC can offer him that, because there are already shiftings of ADC. There are people who set up opposition coalition and people who are the shiftings of ADC. I don't think they will allow somebody who has not been part of the coalition from get-go to just come in and get tickets. I don't think they would want that. So, because Kwankwaso allegedly now, yes, Kwankwaso wants to be president of VP in 2027 election, right? And Tinubu's APC didn't want to give him that. So, allegedly now, because he couldn't get that, that is why Kwankwaso doesn't want to join APC. Whereas the governor, Abba Yusuf, he feels that the president has, has done part of the deal. They had Gandoji removed, and it's possible that it went back to the Supreme Court. The Court of Appeal gave a judgment that was not in favor of Abba Yusuf, right? But it was the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, that said Abba Yusuf is the winner of that election. And you notice that many governors have been joining APC. And part of the reason could go back to that Supreme Court decision. There are some of these governors who feels that if not for the president, they would have lost out at the Supreme Court. All the governors, both opposition, APC, those that had cases in the Supreme Court, they all won the case. So it is possible that Abba Yusuf feels that the president helped with the Supreme Court for them to get victory in the Supreme Court in the election case. And the president, of course, you see that allocation has been increased to the states, and the state governors have more resources than before, So, and for 2027, I think Abba Yusuf feels that he will be in a better position if he's in APC. But that decision by Abba Yusuf is not in line with what the leader of the Kwankwasia movement, Alhaji Kwankwaso, wants. Because Alhaji Kwankwaso wants national position, either president or vice president. But I think Abba Yusuf is like, let's join APC, and then other possibilities can arise when we get there. Kwankwaso wants to get assurance. Maybe he wants agreement. According to Wiki, agreement is agreement. Kwankwaso wants more assurance that wherever he's going, he will be in play when 2027 comes. So there's now a problem. The president, Tinubu, APC, they want Kano, because Kano is one of the key states in Nigeria. It's one of the most populous states in Nigeria. There's a large voting population. It's part of the KKK states in the north. Kano, Katsina, and Kaduna. There are a lot of voters and they have lots of votes. So the presidency will really want to get Kano. But they don't want to just get the governor. They want to get the governor and the leader of the Kwankwasia movement, Kwankwaso, and the Kwankwasia movement and those structures to move along with them to APC so that they will be in a sure footing for 2027. So now, like some days, I think on Friday or so, Daily Nigerian reported that Abba Yusuf will defect to APC come Monday. That's tomorrow. That was the initial report. Confirmed, Abba Yusuf will defect to APC on Monday. But yesterday, Daily Nigeria now released an agenda and now said that Monday is no longer sure. That the defection of Abba Yusuf to APC has been postponed. It has been postponed because a number of factors. You know, the president may be reluctant because of the opposition from the from Kwankwaso and Kwankwasia movement. You know, and then from the governor's side, they said the part of the defection, they want the governor to join with Gandoji, former governor and the arch rival of Kwankwaso. They will now join hands together when the governor is collecting the membership card of APC. So the optics looks bad for the governor, right? The optics looks bad. And there is now this rift between the governor and the scamp and Kwankwaso and the Kwankwasia movement. Kwankwaso has explicitly stated that the governor and those in governor's camp should reconsider, you know, and for himself, he wants a better deal before going anywhere. So at this point now, the thing is still in a pause. You know, things have been paused for now to see if they can beg Kwankwaso to do that. You know. The thing is, I think for Kwankwaso, he's looking at one thing. The president is not that popular in Kano and in the north. President is not that popular, right? So it will take a lot from him to tell his supporters, his people, to vote for the president. And taking that gamble, right, would he for him to stake his name in it, he wants something just other than just being a member of APC. He wants assurance that if he should stake his neck in this cause and say that, oh, let my supporters vote for Tinubu, he wants something in return. But for the governor just wants a situation whereby they honor the arrangements they've had and that he has a better footing for 2027. So that's the rift, you know. So we don't know what is going to happen. This is the first time since Abba Yusuf won, NNPP won Kano. This is the first time there's really been a serious rift between Kwankwaso and his deputy. And sorry, not the deputy, between Kwankwaso and the governor, Abba Yusuf. There were signs, they were like when at the point when the governor, Abba Yusuf, dissolved the Emirates and restored Emir Sanusi. At that point, I think Kwankwaso was in Abuja also. Kwankwaso was interviewed and he said he was not aware of the moves by the governor. Probably the timing of it, it's possible there were discussions about it, but probably the timing of it was something that he was not in the know. And very importantly, that Emirate case that is in the Supreme Court, it has been in Supreme Court for a while. Supreme Court has not given decision. I think they are waiting for signals from the powers that be. So now, Abba Yusuf is of royalty, is in the one of the royal households of the Kano Emirate. So he has a lot of stake in the Emirates, and he staked a lot of his credibility and his political will to seeing that Emir Sanusi is returned. Now, that case at the Supreme Court is supposed to be a slam dunk case, because slam dunk, whatever it's called, case, because the chieftaincy issues is under state. So, and the state high court has supported the decision of the Kano State government in reappointing Emir Sanusi. It's the Federal High Court that went against it. So that is why there's what is called Federal Emir and State Emir. The Federal Emir is the former Emir, or the former Emir who is still claiming the Emirship. Bayero is Federal Emir. Sanusi is State Emir. That's how it's been referred. So the Supreme Court now is an easy case for the Supreme Court, but I think it's the politics that is delaying things. So for Abba Yusuf, he would want a situation whereby the Supreme Court says, Emir Sanusi, you are the Emir. The Bayero is retired, and then you have a single emirate, because apart from being governor, he is also of the royalty. He's in one of those families that's in line for emirship. So he has a lot of personal and political stake in saying that the decision go in the way of Sanusi. And one way he can do that, going by how the Supreme Court ruled in his favor in the political election case, is to be in the good side of the president and the ruling APC. So be on their good side. If you're on their good side, likely you may have better, favorable judgments. So I think that dynamics is in play. The governor is thinking about the emirate. He's thinking about 2027. If he loses in 2020, if let's say he wins in 2027, will the courts say he's the governor? Will he not lose out in the courts? And in Nigeria, it's the courts that have the final say or who wins an election. You can win, INEC can say you are the winner, and the court will say no, you are not the winner. They can even declare the third person as winner. They just do some mathematics and some manipulations, and they will say the third person won. So that is that. I just hope that they resolve it, because for peace, stability, regular order in Kano, there is need for them to resolve the emirate issue. There should be one emirate, so that emirate issue is settled. You have an emir who, it's not good to have rival emir. When it comes to traditional festivities, one emir is declaring this, another emir is declaring this. Then you have a situation whereby supporters of one emir clashes with supporters of the other emir. That is not good. It's not good for the growth, peace, and development of the state. So that, I think, should be settled. Now, as to this politics, the president wants to win re-election, and he's saying it that he wants to get those key opposition states. So he has a sight on Kano, and he would use all the powers that he can leverage towards attracting Kano to APC. Now some say that probably Kwankwaso will join ADC, but I don't really see that happening soon. If Kwankwaso is insisting on want to be number one or number two, I don't think he can get it in ADC. I don't think so. It will be difficult, because ADC now has Obi, Atiku, Amechi, then there's El-Rufai there, and there are these people have been part of the coalition from day one. So will they now allow somebody like Would they not allow Kwankwaso to come from NNPP and now dictate terms to them on whether he wants to be number one or number two? I don't really think so. It is more likely that he will stay in NNPP. Then when it's getting to the time of the election, then he could enter into an alliance with any of the political parties. But whatever it is, I just hope that they resolve it. It's, so that things can move on in Kano State. It's one state that is in my heart because I've lived and worked there before.